Recording in progress.
Hi, this is the Kent Memorial Library Commission regular meeting, November 12th, 2024, 7 p.m. at the Suffield Police Department. I am Denise Booten. I am the chair of this commission, and I will proceed with roll call. Corbin, who is online, yes?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Great. Michael?
Present.
Claire Belanco?
Here.
Ann Barachi?
Here.
Joe Craven? Not here. Claire Kowalik?
Here.
Nina Kendrick?
Here.
Bob Parks?
Here.
Christine Sinopoli?
Present.
Despina Tartsinas?
Here.
I need to make a note, Ann Barachi is new. She is a replacement for Michelle Kennard. Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us. Yes.
One other thing, James Irwin is absent because you didn't call him.
That's right, and it's because I knew James Irwin was absent, sorry, thank you. Yes, James Irwin is not here, he is away. Also Jerry,
Oh, Joe's on his way.
okay, Jerry Mahoney is, yeah, you can close the door. Put a wedge in it or something. He is not present at the moment, okay. So maybe he'll be here, I'm not sure. Okay, public participation. Would anybody like to say something? On Zoom? Nope. Okay, we're gonna keep moving. Approval of minutes, October 8th. I'd like to make a correction right off the bat. Jim Irwin apparently was at that meeting and he was not listed here as present, so he needs to be added. Any other corrections that people see? Yes, Claire?
This is Claire Belanco. On page 2, it says Commissioner Admirer. I believe it should be Commissioner, let me see, I believe it was Corbin. So we'll want to change that to her last name.
This is Nina Kendrick, that's on there twice,
Oh, it is, okay.
on that page too.
Okay.
Whereabouts is it?
Get back. It was towards the bottom of page 2.
Second paragraph as well.
Thank you.
Right under new business.
Okay, thank you. Any other corrections? Okay, moving on to the special meeting that met October 29th. Were there any corrections to this? I see nothing. Seeing nothing, I'm assuming they're okay. Can I have a motion to accept these?
I'll motion that we accept the October 8th minutes with the amendments that were stated, as well as the October 29th minutes as written.
A second?
I'll second. Claire Kowalik.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Abstain.
Abstain? Thank you. Okay, moving on. I have received no communications. Anybody else? No. Report of the library director, Amy.
All right, so hopefully everyone got my email with the report ahead of time, so I won't go over every number like I did last time, but we'll talk about some highlights. So you can see that our total print circulation is up significantly from last month, more than 600 items circulated rather than what was circulated the prior month. And it's also an increase over October 2023, so that's great news. Our Facebook engagement was also up, and so was our historical room usage, so it's always nice to see people using those resources. For programming, we had a really popular Diwali program. The room was packed. There were dancers and Indian food, and it was really great. The public loved it. It was well received. We had pumpkin hydro dipping for the teens, that we put the pumpkins in the reject pumpkins in the graveyard that we set up for Halloween, and those were really cool looking. Children's department, we had third grade tours, so for many days we had lots and lots of children going through the library, and they were super excited about it, so it was really nice to see all their excited faces coming in. So hopefully we have some good future patrons to the library. And our trick or treat got 249 trick-or-treaters, so we had great participation for that as well, so that was a lot of fun. We're looking forward to doing it again next year. So personnel, we have 2 staff vacancies, the library clerk position and the associate director position. I'm going over the job description for the clerk position, hoping that I can kind of tweak it a little bit to suit the needs of the library a little bit better, and I'm working with human resources on that. And we have started interviewing for the associate director position. We've had some strong candidates, so hopefully we'll have that filled soon, which would be really nice to get someone in place. Facility-wise, we had the ducts cleaned on October 24th. They did PCB testing of the ducts at that time. I have not heard any word on what the results of that were yet. And we also had an estimate for the atrium project of $21,850. So I feel like that at least gives us some sort of starting point to explore what options there are and what we're looking at financially for that project. Other updates, the Suffield Second Chance Shop and the Suffield Council for the Arts hosted an art show and sale of paintings by Suffield resident and artist Barbara Coffin in our gallery, and proceeds benefit the village for families and children. There was an opening reception on October 10th, and it was really popular. We had a lot of community members come in. I think she sold quite a few paintings, but the show's been extended until the end of November because of a cancellation of art that was supposed to be installed this month that the artist canceled. So I don't know how many of you drove by the library on Halloween, but we fully embraced the Halloween spirit this year. It was a huge collaborative effort, so I just want to give a nod to our Service and Outreach Coordinator Holly, Commission Member Jim, First Selectman Colin, Facilities Supervisor Izzy, Dave and Joe from Shoreline Audio, volunteers from Suffield Troop 260, and the library staff. We had lighting on the exterior of the building that was Halloween themed, and we had projections up. I think one was bats and one was a skull maybe. It was awesome. We got great feedback from the community. It was great. We also decorated the atrium like a spooky graveyard, and we had a fog machine in there, so we just really tried to celebrate. So staff wore fun Halloween costumes, and we passed out candy and non-food treats, and we're really excited to do it again next year. So I'm glad it was so well received. Upcoming items of note, partnership with Suffield Community Aid. We're sponsoring 2 families for a Thanksgiving food drive and a holiday basket program. We're also participating in Suffield Delight on December 6th, and just like in past years, staff and volunteers will read stories which will be broadcast out to the courtyard area so that people going by can listen to a holiday story. Children's Department will be hosting a popular Polar Express program, which I've heard a lot about, and I'm really excited to see how that is. And we have a special Hanukkah program with Amy Healy on December 19th. And that's it for my report.
That's great, thank you.
You're welcome.
Just before we move on, Amy, just a quick question for you. So the atrium work, do you feel that you have enough support for figuring out the next steps for that? I'm just wondering if it's something the facilities subcommittee can help with, or do you feel well supported on that?
Well, because it's such a preliminary stage right now, I haven't needed to really seek support for it,
Okay.
but the foundation has expressed an interest in it, as well as town administration, and I know the commission's probably interested in the project as well, so I feel like when I get to that point where there's enough estimates and I need to like talk to people about what the next steps are, that I feel that I have enough people interested and supportive of it that I should have plenty of people to go to.
Great, okay, perfect, thanks.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Could I also make one comment? I appreciated the lighting outside last night as well for Veterans Day. So
Oh,
thank you.
yes, so we did light it up for Veterans Day as well. I wrote the report before Veterans Day, so we had the red, white, and blue lights out. So I think that's going to be kind of a theme that as holidays come up and stuff, those lights are installed now, and we'll kind of, you know, decorate the library as we can.
Great. Standing committee reports. Claire was kind enough to send us the Sky Investments. Was there feedback? Are there any questions?
I didn't get any questions, so
Okay.
we are planning on meeting with them next month, so,
Okay,
for our usual
okay,
December meeting.
thank you. Building and grounds, Jim.
Just a second, I
Yeah.
do have one question, just out of curiosity, so the 3 accounts in the report, do those generally just sit as investments, or any of those liquid in any way? Like, are we leveraging any of those accounts?
We spend from, we're not spending from the capital account right now because
Yep.
we spent so much in years past.
Yeah.
But, yeah, we draw from the general and the
Okay,
Fuller
okay,
annually.
got it, okay, that makes sense, thank you.
Yes, Christine.
Claire had mentioned when we were just sitting down about getting together with Amy to discuss budget matters. And I'd like to be included in that, and I'd like to see it conducted as a regular subcommittee meeting with the ability for other finance committee members to attend. The public can also attend, just for transparency. And I think it's important for all of us to understand this. I mean, I was telling Claire that, you know, there's a lot to it, and, you know, you're only one person. You can only tackle so much at a time. And sometimes you have to do one thing at a time. But I am interested in knowing more about it and understanding it, so I'm looking forward to that. So I ask that we very much work together on trying to figure out a mutually convenient time for all the parties. Thank you.
Okay. Building and grounds. Jim is not here, so I don't know. Nina, did you hear anything back from him?
I have not heard anything, no.
Okay, well, I hope he's on a nice vacation. Any special committee reports? No. Unfinished business. Reception, Michael Alexopoulos and Corbin Ajibid.
You might recall at our last, that Mike Alexopoulos speaking, at our last board meeting on the 8th, we had a discussion about having a meet and greet for our new director, as well as really for our new board members. And now we have a brand new board member, welcome. Because we've really never gotten together and gotten a chance for everyone to meet the various groups that help support the Kent Memorial Library. You know, for those of us who have been around, we understand that the town budget is just one piece of the support structure, financial support structure, as well as all the interested parties that volunteer so many hours, to be honest with you, to make this thing work. So we bounced around some ideas. I don't mean to be speaking for Corbin. She was going to be doing this presentation, but unfortunately she hasn't been feeling so great. Are you feeling any better, Corbin?
It
Okay,
doesn't.
great. That's enough right there. That was good enough. We hear it already. Okay.
Like, I'm getting better.
Okay.
Thank you.
So she would have been making this presentation, but I'm more than happy to fill in. It was a helpful meeting. Amy attended as well as Jim, and as you saw the minutes. And so we had an opportunity just to bounce some ideas across, across the board. And we, while we certainly didn't conclude anything, we wanted to come back and report that it seemed like, after all the discussion, the best idea might be to have a meeting, to have a session on a Saturday morning before the library opens. That way the staff, could feel comfortable being there, and it wouldn't be a conflict with anyone that had to work there. We also felt that the Saturday might be better for some people, because we opted for maybe a Friday after work, but that in itself presents problems for a lot of people, so we opted for the Saturday. It also gives way to having some finger foods that are easier than having, it be a dinner type of item. So we're talking about, some things that are obvious for a breakfast type of thing, absent of the, the bacon and scallops and things like that. We'll have, pastries, that type of thing. That's what we're proposing anyway. And, we feel that, inviting certainly the Library Commission itself, the Friends and Foundation, collectively, between all the groups that we just mentioned, we would have probably somewhere in the neighborhood of 50 people invited. Can't really count on all of them coming, but, you know, so it would be a fairly healthy group. And of course, you know, you would extend it to the Board of Selectmen, you know, as well. Bear with me for a second. I'm looking at an email that Corbin sent me, because she was going to do some research, which she did, on, you know, possible costs. I think at the end of the day, we figured, I'm throwing a number out there, so that we talked about.
Mhm.
We said it could cost as much as $1,000. Okay, just bear with me when I say that. I'm sure that's a high number,
Mhm.
okay? But we were thinking we might have 3 different sources, because the foundation has said that they would be interested in splitting it with, we're thinking, you know, the commission as well as the Friends. So between all 3, you know, that $1,000 all of a sudden is down to 300, and I suspect it's going to be even less than that at the end of the day. But that would include all the paper goods as well as the, you know, she got some pricing from Doro. I've never been there, but I understand, you know, Jim was saying their stuff is pretty impressive. So Jim says it's impressive, it probably is pretty good. And I'm a Costco guy, so if you see Costco trays, you'll know I won. But anyway, yeah, and we'll have juice and coffee, you know, that type of thing. We actually have proposed the idea of having an agenda, and what I mean by that is not just mingling, but giving an opportunity for somebody, maybe, and if everybody wants to speak, that's fine too, but just somebody at least from each of the respective groups, you know, giving some little idea of why they're, you know, what their group does to make Kent Memorial what it is,
Mhm.
and how they have, you know, been able to benefit the community through their organization and their contribution of time and or money. Another idea was to have, it sounds a little elementary on the front end, but the more we talked about it, the more it got pretty exciting, to have, I'm gonna go with a, for lack of a better term, a index card, and on it, you'd put 3 things about you with your name, because that would open up some, make it easier, rather than staring at somebody and having no clue who they are, you'd see their name and what group they're from, okay, as well as, you know, something about them that might not otherwise come up in a conversation. Oh, I'm interested in that too, type of thing. So just a mingling type of thing. This isn't, you know, a formal presentation. You know, it's not where we're looking to get funding for, you know, library for the year. We're talking about understanding that there's not just the 12 of us. There's a whole staff that would love to meet us too.
Yep.
No, maybe they wouldn't, but we're gonna make them meet us anyway. And, you know, there's just so many, you know, the library really is a community center. And I
Yeah.
think this can show that.
Mhm.
So that's what we thought about. It took us about an hour to think of that.
Mhm.
Amy, did I miss anything?
No,
That
that was
really-
pretty thorough,
Yeah.
yeah.
And thank you for being there. You were,
No, well, thank
you know,
you for
being,
having
even
me.
though brand new, she was still a valuable part of that discussion. And it just seemed like it was morphing into something, this sounds pretty good. But we thought we'd put it off till January. Did I
Makes
already
sense.
say that?
No, you didn't, but
Because
that was my next question.
we've talked about, okay, let's try and, you know, try to get it in before the holiday. Next thing you know, which holiday we're talking about? Thanksgiving, really, you know. So, you know, January just seemed like it would be comfortable, and we could really do a good job planning, as well as pass it by you, and, you know, and get some input from the characters that are sitting here. So,
Okay,
and that's that.
all right. So are there any comments or other questions? Yeah.
I just
Christine?
wanted to say, I wanted to ask Chris, Joe Craven had said that he got on remotely. Chris? did-
see him.
Okay, so you might want to make a note of it,
I already did.
or,
See,
okay.
she's special. Hi, Joe. Okay. Any other comments? That sounds good. Yes, good. Claire?
Claire Blanco, I love the idea. I think you guys put a lot of really great thought into it. I think the timing is right too, waiting until after the holidays. I think it's gonna get a little hectic here the next month and a half. I think January is a great time. Things will settle after the holidays. People will get back into the groove of things. And I actually like the note card idea too, because not all of us know everyone, not all of the staff, not everyone of the friends, the foundation, so it will be a nice way to get to know everyone. So I like that idea.
Well, it started off as a name tag
Okay,
and quickly became a note card, because, you
I
know,
like it.
gotta make it big enough so that I can actually read it.
Yep.
And we're gonna use me as that benchmark,
Some bold permanent markers.
okay?
Yeah,
And it sounded good.
that sounds really nice.
Good. Yes,
Yeah, this is Nina Kendrick. I appreciate all the work that you guys did for that. I really appreciate the sentiment of just like opening communication, getting to know people and, you know, the various groups and all. I appreciate that. I think that will be helpful in a lot of ways.
So for the record, you gotta give Corbin a lot of credit for this, because she's been after me for about, 8 months to really, get this off the ground, and eventually we got there. Okay.
wonderful.
It's so ironic that she can't be here to tape in it. Nice job, Corbin.
Nice job, Corbin. Thank you. New business.
Do we want to discuss any potential dates for January, since we're all here, to just bat it around? Are we talking, a couple weeks into January to get past New Year's?
Well, I think we would have to have another meeting before that. And we don't have one scheduled in December as a rule.
Right, so do we want to look at the calendar right now? Because, here I am just pulling it up. And
Denise, this is Nina Kendrick. You said we need another meeting before,
I assume you're gonna nail stuff down.
Yeah,
Okay,
I can just tell you that the date that was kind of bantered around sounded like the 11th. Does that work for people? In other words, that seemed to, it wasn't immediately after the first, and yet it avoided the holiday weekend, and then before you know it, we start bumping into other things,
so are you talking like 9 AM?
8 to 10.
8 to 10 AM, okay. Because I wonder if we should even try to put together some kind of a motion if we're in agreement with respect to the funding. Because
okay.
Because have the other two, have the Friends and the Foundation said that they'll go thirds?
I believe that we had some unofficial input at that point, nothing official, but we could make that as part of our motion.
Right.
Yeah.
Because Despina, are you the representative for the foundation? And Claire, both of you? Okay, but you can't say,
I don't think it was discussed
No.
okay.
at our last meeting.
This is Corbin. Can I talk for a second?
I hope so.
Okay. Just about the finances, I have not reached out to any of the groups. I wasn't sure what needed to be done. So after the approval of this tonight, my thought process was to reach out to Despina, Claire Kowalik, and Jim Irwin, since they sit on several of those other, on the foundation and the Friends, and work with them to figure out monies and things like that. So if we need to have all these extra commission approvals, it'll take longer, but right now we're aiming to do the party, or the event on January 11th.
And
Maybe.
Just for the record, I think that's probably how it evolved. Jim was there, so that's the unofficial source that,
Okay.
now it's coming back to me. I mean, you give me 3 days in between a meeting, and when I have to say something,
I understand.
Well, Claire, as head of finance, do we have the funds, the KMLC, and can we make a motion to say something to the effect where we will provide, $300, $350, with the caveat that the other two groups kick in equal shares, I'm just trying to avoid a special meeting because it's a busy time coming up.
I understand.
Yeah, we have the funds, liquid, so, yeah, we wouldn't have to do anything. But yes, we'd have to, reach out, and if one of those groups decided not to, you know, then we'd have to make up the difference. kind of
Or
thing. I
just
mean,
buy stuff at Costco,
Yeah.
as much as I love Dora, so.
I mean, could we also accept donations too, or, you know, if people do wanna bake something, or, I don't know, sometimes it is nice to have it, you know, put on or catered.
This is Nina Kendrick, I just wonder if maybe we could approve up to a certain amount tonight?
Yeah, not to
Mhm.
exceed.
Say up to
Yeah,
something or
a
other?
not to exceed amount. And we'll certainly report back to you to let you know, how that plays out. I suspect that the groups we're talking will want to be part of it.
Okay, does somebody want to make a formal motion?
And what's the dollar amount just first? What would you recommend, Claire, since you've got your head in the numbers?
Well, I mean, you're not to exceed $1,000, I'm guessing, I mean, based on your early work.
Yeah, it's appreciably less than that, it's a little bit.
With the thought that we'll get contributions from other organizations, so.
I think that we could make it with the condition that we, you know, they'll go in on it with us. Because I think it is, you know, important if we are going to try to partner with other groups that,
Yeah, just, we can't speak for those other groups tonight, so, yes.
so would we wanna make the dollar amount up to like $350 or $400?
As far as the Kent Memorial Library Commission piece of it, sure. Go with 400.
I'm just throwing it out there to,
Hi, this is Corbin. I would recommend, if everybody's okay with it, that maybe we just do an amount of $1,000. It's more than the endowment would need to put in by a long shot by themselves, but that way it covers us. I love the goal of coming in under budget, and I'm not looking to spend it all, but that way it would give us plenty of safety guard, and we wouldn't have to worry about having another meeting.
Thoughts, response to that?
Mike Alexopoulos, I'm just gonna tell you that, I'm making a commitment, we will not spend $1,000 out of commission money. We will get other contributions, whether it be from only those committees or from others as well, I promise you.
So do we want to leave the cutoff at 350 or 400? Do we want to put it at 500?
I gotta leave that up to you. I have no problem with us saying we're gonna, spend maximum $1,000. Because, I mean, if we're the ones kind of organizing this, it makes sense that we kind of like give that umbrella there, and then we work our way down to how we fund it
Okay.
later. And again, as soon as I get any of that information, we'll forward that to you guys in the form of an email.
Okay.
And get it right out to you, so you know, you can feel comfortable with it. But I'm making a commitment, we won't spend that without other contributions, we just won't.
Do we want a formal motion?
Yep.
Good. I'll give you a minute or two.
Is that me? Mike Alexopoulos, I'll make a motion that the Kent Memorial Library Commission pass a resolution to support having a greet and meet reception on January 11th, 2025, with the intention of inviting library staff, the commission, friends, foundation officers, and Board of Selectmen, and that the Kent Memorial Library Commission be prepared to fund an amount not to exceed $1,000 with the anticipation that we will be getting donations from the other groups as well.
I'll second it.
All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Thank you very much. And that was a great idea to do it now. Thank you.
Excellent.
Yeah, thanks for all your hard work, you and Corbin.
It's a big deal.
It'll be good. We'll make it. We'll make
It's
it
going to
good.
be very good. I'm
Yeah.
very excited about it. I have one announcement. I am stepping down from the chairship for next year. So if people are interested in doing it, you're welcome to talk to me. I know Michael was very helpful when I was thinking about things. So just food for thought, elections are in January, so, okay? Okay. Public participation,
We have one more item, Denise.
did I miss it?
Yes.
New business, I think?
New business.
Oh, that's right, and then we went back, sorry.
Yep.
Okay, go for it. New business. Discuss scope of community relations subcommittee.
So this is Nina Kendrick. I just wanted to open this discussion a little bit. As a commission, I was just hoping that we could be a little more intentional about showing recognition and appreciation for our library staff. I'm not really sure how this has looked in, years past. I think this year, if I recall, I think Michael and Corbin maybe made a little effort here and there on behalf of the commission to show some appreciation to the staff. But I think it's important that we do that, that we keep communication open and try to build positive relationships between commission and staff, kind of echoing the sentiments that Michael expressed a few minutes ago. Michael, can you speak on what that has looked like this past year? Am I remembering correctly that you and Corbin, was it a card that was passed around, or you guys bought them a pizza or something?
Yeah, there was, Corbin did a special pizza day. We did approach the director, the acting director at the time, with the idea of getting birth dates for all the staff, not necessarily birth years, but birth dates, so that we could recognize all of them on their, on their birthday with a card and possibly even a little, gift card to Dunkin' Donuts or something like that. That kind of fell apart. I think if I don't mean to make any excuses, but I think part of our steam kept escaping because of our lack of the directorship. I'm going to be very honest with you. I feel very confident that now that we have some specifically in place, we can make a real good effort at that. In the past, we've done things. I mean, this commission, not very many people on it anymore that were here then, but we were like baking goods for them, and like it was a monthly thing. If somebody took a turn to do something,
And was it like a personal thing, or was it on behalf of the commission? Like,
on behalf of the
yeah.
commission. In other words,
Okay.
you'd go in and you'd pop in there and put it in the staff lounge and eating area, and it was very much appreciated. So something like that would be really cool if we did that again. We went as far as to actually wanted to recognize people and have people put sticky notes. When I say people, public. Sticky notes was something that went positive for them with that staff member, but believe it or not, they don't want that, because it's just too much for them.
Okay.
It's too much for the staff. That's not their role. They like being assistant and don't need to have that recognition. But I think recognition from us is really important.
Yeah, so I guess it sounds like in years past, it was just very informal, and just whenever somebody felt like it, they would
We
pop
as a,
in, or...
well, as a group, we kind of like just put together a little schedule of, okay, I'll do it, this month, and, that type of thing, and it just rolled. And, I mean, there's 12 of us, so honestly, if everybody just did 1 month,
Sure.
it's,
Yeah. I guess I was wondering if it should be part of community relations role, just so it doesn't get overlooked, because we are, it's generally a new makeup of the commission here, so if I'm curious what the feelings are, if it needs to be, more formalized in this community relations role, so it doesn't get overlooked, or we should just keep it as informal whenever people feel led, type of thing.
Bob Parks, I think we should defer to Amy on things like that, for recognizing particular staff or the library in general with our support. I think that's part of the managerial bailiwick, if you will, to reward and recognize various staff members. I think that, I mean, I love to cook, but I can't see myself, you know, baking an apple pie once a year. Well, I guess I could once a year. It's not that big of a deal, but, you know, I think that it should be more formalized from Amy to do something like that, whether it's baking something and dropping it off, or you know, just, I'm not sure what. I think that's, you know, your purview, so I'm not sure that it needs to be part of the whatever Commissioner Relations Subcommittee that is. I think that we should leave that to Amy for either implementation or recommendations to the board. If it's something that you need support from the board, then, you know, then we bring it up and discuss it. But in the interim, I think that it should be yours.
And I'm happy to have a conversation with anyone that, you know, wants some ideas or looking for, you know, different things that can be done. I know that staff don't expect anything special, but it sure would go a long way to making them feel nice to be recognized, just like it would for anybody. I mean, we all like to be recognized for the work we do. So I'm happy to have those conversations. If the commission wants to do something on a formal structure or not, I can help either way, so.
I'd like to hear from Corbin, if you're able to talk, Corbin, the pizza party that you did, what was that? Something you did during the lunch hour? How many, you know, was it like 2 or 3 people, 2 or 3 pizzas? How many people are usually there? You know, if I'm gonna bring, you know, a loaf of bread, is that, you know, plenty, you know, like a banana bread? I'm just trying to get a sense of how many people are there at a time and.
So when I brought the pizza, I didn't figure all that out. I just showed up with a party pizza and said, here you go, guys, we appreciate you. And it was St. Patrick's Day and like some kind of pizza that had corned beef and stuff on it. And it was really just to be fun. Something we could consider, I mean, there's 12 months and there's 12 commissioners. So maybe we could each sponsor a month and just, everybody pick a month and just stop in and say, hey guys, we appreciate you and we just want you to know. That could be an idea. Because I agree with Nina that it would be nice to have something a little more formal, because even us trying to figure out how to properly do a meeting to talk about this meet and greet and not violate any rules was, probably more time was spent on that than the actual meeting that we had. So, and I don't know that we should necessarily have a whole subcommittee for this. And I also see it doesn't really fit under community relations either. In terms of staff, I think Amy said there's about 20 or so currently.
Yeah, I think there's around 19, and some are just subs, so they're not there all the time.
Yeah, because there's part-time, full-time. And it doesn't always have to be food. It can be flowers, balloons, I don't know. Just something to know that you're being thought about. But I didn't go through any formula. It was the time that I could go to the store between doing my stuff with my kids, and I ordered it at that time that it was something that I could do. I didn't make a whole formal inquiry as to who was there, how many people, gluten-free, dairy-free. I just went with the idea that here's something that I can offer, and I hope you know you're loved and appreciated. And that was what I went with.
The large bag of candy from Costco goes a long way too. I did it many times over that time we were doing it.
We're kind of fond of candy over there.
Well, that's certainly helpful, yep.
Okay.
Yeah, input from everybody,
Short
yeah.
of something formal, you know, I'll be happy by the time let's wait till January kind of hits, okay? to make sense, new year, new
I
process.
put it as an agenda item
Yeah.
for January.
Well,
Yep.
you know, we can put together just a list and just see how that plays out. I suspect that all of us would be willing to sign up for it
Yeah,
and
and
do something.
Corbin, I really like your idea of sponsoring a month. I think that makes good sense, and it's, I think it'll keep us accountable, and everybody volunteers for a month, and everybody gets to show some appreciation.
I think you may run the risk of having the staff or the people you're trying to recognize, say, geez, it's Thursday the 14th, here they come again. It's gotta be spontaneous. I love what Corbin did. I mean, that was, you know, spontaneous and something good. But, I mean, we're just throwing ideas out, so I would defer back to Amy. Is that something you think your organization would respond to? If we designated the third Thursday of each month as cake day or pie day or whatever?
It's hard for me to say individually what each staff member would prefer. For me, because I can only really speak to how I would feel about it if, you know, if it were for me. I think it's nice to have it every month, but to kind of mix it up of when it happens in the month, so it's more of a surprise than, like you said, the third Thursday of every month. Then it feels more calculated and regimented and like it's an obligation, whereas if it's unexpected, then it's a nice surprise in someone's day. So that's how I feel about it. I mean, I'm not sure every staff person would feel that way, but I think most of them probably would.
Denise,
Yeah.
I don't know, we're coming up to public comment very shortly. Can,
No, I had to go back because I jumped ahead.
Okay.
But you'll get a chance.
Mike Elizopoulos, I think that each of us sponsoring a month will kind of dictate a little individuality as well. And, you know, there may be some special day within that month, like she did St. Patrick's Day. Okay.
think it's a good
I think
idea.
it'll happen that way. Because if we did it every third Thursday, only people who work on Thursday are gonna get a shot at your banana cake. 'Cause I'm gonna tell you, your banana cake ain't lasting until Friday, okay?
I want to make sure it's a day that I'm there.
Okay. Okay. Public participation.
Sorry.
No.
Didn't mean to interrupt, but, first of all, welcome to the new member. I hope it's a good tenure for
Thank
you
you.
and more importantly for the library. Just a quick comment.
Excuse me,
on-
could you state your
John
name?
Gracie, I'm sorry. Regarding minutes, recorded minutes, I was here months ago. Unfortunately for a lot of you, I've been here to a lot of meetings. But I was, one of the meetings I was here, maybe it was a few months ago when it was a lot of new members. And previous to that, there was a designated person on the commission that did the minutes and printed them out and so forth. And I thought that went well. That first meeting with a lot of new members, I might have been you, Ms. Booten, that asked for someone to take the minutes, and everybody kind of turned away. Nobody wanted to do that, and I understand why. That's kind of a thankless, really hard job to record the minutes. And my understanding is it's a paid person now. If I'm wrong, please correct me, but I think it's a paid position. And the reason I mention that is I don't think at least in my case personally, a couple of times when I've said things at meetings, what I read when the minutes were printed online, it was not, there was a lot lost in the translation of what I was trying to get at. I didn't think my intent was put in print. Now, I guess people will counter and say, well, you can always listen to the recording. It might be an hour and a half. A lot of people, if they don't go to a meeting and don't want to spend the time to go to a meeting, they're probably not going to spend the time to listen to an hour and a half of recording to get to what they want to hear. If the minutes are printed, they can zero in on that, almost like going to a Cliff Notes thing. So my suggestion will be to be a little bit more encompassing on what people actually say, rather than a brief synopsis. I understand why it's done that way briefly, but I think you lose the intent, at least from my case. Maybe other people that have talked publicly, they felt what they've said was a true representation of what they meant to say and what they wanted to convey. but in my case, a couple of times that was not the case.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you for sharing. Yes, Christine?
I'm choosing to respond to Mr. Gracie's. Thank you for your comment. It's my understanding that the minutes are to be a record of the actions that are actually taken, and that they're not intended to go in depth on the public comments, to have some, you know, succinct gist of what someone has stated. And Jerry Mahoney has made, I think, some comments about this at one of our previous meetings. And that's per the Roberts Rules of Order. And that's the explanation that I can give you. If any of the other commissioners, or perhaps Colin, could even weigh in on that.
Denise Booten, it varies significantly in terms of how people approach minutes, but the goal is to make note, there's very little that has to be in minutes. It's things like participation, who was there, general overview of participation, not necessarily everything that was said, any motions, any formal proceedings that required action. Those things have to be in the minutes. Nothing else has to be in the minutes. At one point in time, and certainly early on when the first exposure I had, some of the minutes were extremely detailed. And there was an attempt at that accommodation, which, you're right, it's an onerous thing. It is not, it's very, very, I mean, one of them Michael transcribed basically everything everybody said, which was lovely, but not necessary. So what we've been trying to do is pare them down, but I certainly understand that if you're going to be mentioned, you'd like an accurate sense of what it was that you were saying.
That's my
So,
point.
okay, thank you. Any other public participation? Okay. Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
I'll make the motion. Claire Blanco.
Second?
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody opposed? Have a great week. Thank you. And happy Thanksgiving.
Oh, really?
Recording stopped.